Tom Waits famously quipped, "A gentleman is someone who can play the accordion, but doesn't." Let's just think about that for a minute.
Hello and welcome to the This Are Johnny Domino podcast, a light-hearted and entertaining podcast with myself, Steve Woodward, and my brother, Giles Woodward.
Hello, here I am.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. What do you think Tom Waits meant by that? What does that quote mean to you?
Do you think it's saying something about you shouldn't show off if you know how to do something well?
I don't know.
Or do you think he's just saying that the accordion is a really annoying instrument?
I think a gentleman is somebody who knows how to do things that could potentially upset people and annoy people, but holds back.
Interesting.
Possibly. That's what I think it means. What have you been doing?
What have I been doing? What haven't I been doing? Well, at the weekend, I went to see a film called We Are Fugazi from Washington, D.C. It was an interesting film. It was really quite cool because it was basically live footage of Fugazi doing certain songs throughout their career. I went with some friends and one particular friend, John. Hi there, John, who I haven't seen for ages. So it was very nice to catch up with him beforehand. And then we saw the film and it was good. But why can't people sit still for an hour and a half?
Oh, you're feeling a bit intolerant of the other audience members.
Just like people just can't hold it in for an hour and a half. It's like it's a 94, 96-minute film, something like that. Yeah. Sit down, man.
Maybe they weren't finding it as interesting as you. Did it have a narrative structure? What was the film like? What was it?
There wasn't really a narrative structure. What happened was people were talking about the fact that Fugazi were quite open about people recording their gigs and filming their gigs. They didn't really care about it. You could bootleg it, whatever you want. And they were saying, I had a video camera. I went to the gig. They let me perch in some kind of random place on a balcony or something like that and film it. And then they would show a song from their gig. It wasn't chronological. There were some bits from the start of their career, some bits from the end of their career. And yeah, it was good. It was a good film. You know, they were an interesting band.
I mean, they were amazing to see play anyway, right? You know, you've seen them, haven't you? You saw them a couple of times. I've seen them a couple of times.
I only saw them once. I saw them at Trent Poly, as was probably 91, 92, something like that. Were you there?
No, I wasn't at that one.
Yeah, I went with John, who I saw at the weekend. And, you know, we reminisced about going to that gig. And they were a great live band. But the fact is they had like hundreds and hundreds of songs and they never wrote a set list.
Yeah.
I don't know. They must have had like blocks of songs they knew worked well together. And they go, right, start on this one. We know we're going to end up.
Was there anything you didn't like about the film?
As you can imagine with a band like Fugazi, it's pretty obvious they took themselves very seriously. And there were a couple of sections where Ian Mackay, there was one particular section he was talking about, if I was a baker and people were hungry, I'd give them bread. And if people were homeless and I was a carpenter, I'd build them a house. And I make music for people who need music.
Yeah.
You know, and that was a bit...
I know.
Ian. But one particular bit I really liked is there's a lot of footage of them just knobbing about, particularly the drummer.
I like footage of bands knobbing about.
Oh yeah, and that bit was great. And you know, get a drummer anywhere near a piano, he's going to be playing the piano.
Yeah,
and that's what Brendan Canty ended up doing.
Yeah, I think I agree with you about the sort of like the seriousness of Fugazi. I mean, obviously they're great and everything. Yeah. That's not something up for debate, but I don't know, and it's a bit of a ridiculous criticism to sort of say Fugazi haven't got much of a sense of humour.
No.
But that is the thing that stops me from completely loving them, I suppose, is the fact that there are no jokes.
But, you know, there will have been jokes. You could have this conversation about Radiohead. they take themselves very seriously.
Yeah.
But I don't believe for a second that when they first played through like Paranoid Android and they got to the end of it after 6 minutes of this like really weird, twisted, proggy structure, they didn't just fall about laughing.
Yeah, but we don't get any of that. If that did happen,
I can't believe
which I'm doubting. But
well,
but in your mind. But yeah, I don't know. We don't get to see any of it.
No.
So yeah, but you enjoyed it. Is that film on like general release or?
No, I think it was on for one night, and I think it said on the website it's not going on streaming. They're not going to sell it on DVD or Blu-ray. It's basically you see it at the cinema or you miss it. Some joker will get a copy and we'll stick it up on YouTube, so you'll be able to watch it. There was one particular performance in the film. It was a version of Suggestion, and it was sung by a female punk singer called Amy Pickering. I think Fugazi got it in the neck for writing a song about rape from a woman's perspective, because obviously they were men, which is kind of ridiculous in a way, but I can kind of see what people would be saying, what right have they got to... I don't know.
I suppose it is a valid criticism.
It's possibly a valid criticism. And Amy Pickering performed the song.
Yeah, right.
She's a friend of Ian Mackay's.
Yeah.
And the song is written about something that happened to her. And I didn't know that at the time, but it was an incredible performance.
It is. You sent it me.
Yeah.
You sent me a clip. So yeah, go and watch it on YouTube, people.
It'll be in the show notes.
It's in the show notes, yeah. It is a good performance. It's really cool. And it kind of makes the song the song obviously does make more sense, really.
Yeah.
And she does a cracking performance of it.
Yeah, really good, really good.
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
I watched the White Lotus finale last night.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you been watching White Lotus?
No,
everyone else is watching White Lotus.
Well, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, it's like 3 series down, isn't it?
Yeah, the third season. Bit controversial. Is it good? Is it crap?
I don't know. Is it good or is it crap?
My review really is The American Dream. What can we say? It's all gone a bit wrong, hasn't it? The people who have lives that are richer and more luxurious than kings and queens from centuries before turn out to be vacuous and shallow and see it as their duty to ignore the shit out of any guilt they feel for any of the rest of humanity that are stumbling and scrabbling about beneath them. Am I still talking about White Lotus?
I'm not sure. You may have crossed over into some kind of twisted reality which can't really be happening.
Yeah, a little bit. There's a bit of that going on.
Yeah.
Also, a few weeks ago, I went to see John Cooper Clarke at the Royal Concert Hall in Nottingham, and it was like a World Poetry Day kind of event. It was cracking. I had a really, really good time, and there were 4 poets on, and it's a big place.
Yeah.
To fill with poetry. And I was sort of thinking, what's this going to be like? But it was, there was a lot of people. It was pretty full, and I was thinking, how is this going to get across? Like just a person at a microphone, reading a poem to a massive auditorium like this.
Mm-hmm.
But it did mostly really work. It was really good, and we were sat fairly far back, Yeah. And like I say, there were 4 poets. There were some really good ones. There was this guy, Mike Garry, who's from Manchester, who tours with John Cooper Clarke a lot, apparently. And he was really good. He's got a lovely kind of sort of sing-song way of kind of like phrasing his poetry. And he's got a really good one about Tony Wilson called St. Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good. And John Cooper Clarke was good. He was a bit subdued to start off with. He looked very dapper. It's just great to see him, really. But he kind of got going, and he was very charming, and there was some really good funny anecdotes. And he did sort of do his kind of classics, towards the end. So yeah, that was really good. And then there was this guy, Henry Normal. Have you ever heard of Henry Normal?
Oh yeah, of course.
Henry Normal's a local poet, Steve.
I didn't realise he was from
Nottingham. Yeah, but he's
Wowzers. I thought he was
he's from Nottingham, and he's moved. I think he's moved recently down south. I think he did say, but he did a really good set as well, and he kind of inspired me to write a poem about Henry Normal in a Henry Normal style.
Nice.
It's called Who is Henry Normal? John Cooper Clarke said he owns this town, but who is Henry Normal? A cardi-clad poet who swings sweetly from sad to funny to sad to funny. His words chime with me. A Knots-born word slinger, doing stuff about family and loving the small stuff and getting old and stuff and existing in the moment and stuff and stuff and stuff. Who is Henry Normal? Most people who know him agree. Henry is good. Henry is nice. Mostly unlike me.
Henry Normal also co-wrote and script edited Mrs. Merton's Show and The Royal Family with Caroline Aherne.
He did.
Yeah, and he set up, what's it called? Oh, man. Baby Cow. Set up Baby Cow with Steve Coogan as well, so production. I didn't realise he was from Nottingham. That's excellent.
Yeah, it's got a very Nottingham voice.
Ah.
Yeah.
Don't think I've ever heard him speak. I mean, I don't want to keep it on the poetry tip, but we got sent a poem via the contact form on our Bandcamp page.
Did we?
We did. Received it the other day. It's from Andy Hines, someone who I don't know. This is the poem that we received.
I'm excited. I need to. This is the first poem we've ever had.
I know. I like this. We do like people sending us songs, but, pictures, photo montages, anything. We're quite happy with anything.
Poems.
But poems, baby.
Amazing.
Okay.
Go.
Andy writes, my grandfather was a Werther's original OG. He used to kiss my head when I sat on his knee. He used to give me a Werther's and kiss my head, but the Werther's original OG is dead.
Very nice.
Very moving.
And I appreciate that. That's really nice.
Yeah, and that's in reference to the last episode of the podcast when we inexplicably included a recording of the old Werther's original TV ad.
Yeah. So, just a reminder, you are listening to the This Are Johnny Domino podcast, in which we tend to talk about music.
Yes.
And it's certainly about old crappy tapes of stuff that we recorded a very, very long time ago. But, we talk about other stuff as well.
Yeah.
And we've been going for a while. What episode is this?
This is number 45. 45. The speed of a 7-inch single.
But yeah, we should have more. I like the advert last episode. That was good. I think you should dig out some more. That was cool.
I'm just going to leave a gap to insert one when I edit it.
Got what it takes, my wife. Got friends round. Got roast pork for lunch. Plenty of taste, British folk. Real value for money. Fred's got plenty. Arthur's got plenty. We've all got plenty. Plenty to go round. My wife's got what it takes.
British pork. What's it got? It's got the lot.
Got pork for lunch on Sunday?
Oh, thanks. That was really good. Your wish was my command.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
I don't know what it is, but it was really good.
It must have been great.
It was amazing.
Don't know what it is yet, but there you go.
Okay, there you go. Oh, you might not put this in. I was listening to the Funny Comics Fan Club podcast that we've mentioned before by our friend Mark Hibbert.
Okay. Yeah.
And he did mention our podcast in it.
Did he? Oh, I'll have to check the stats for a spike. Cool.
But mainly he was just complaining about the fact that we always say that he's continually going on about how he's a doctor. So we need to do that some more, basically.
Okay. Sorry,
but
Dr. Hibbert.
Sorry, Doctor. Yeah. He's a doctor of comics, On
the 90s Derby scene, I just want to be seen. On the 90s Derby scene, where have you been? On the 90s Derby scene, I just want to be seen. What musical cuisine Stephen Jars are going to serve today? Day.
Nice. So here we are on the 90s music scene of Derby, right? And last episode, we listened to a song by a band called Scribble.
Yes.
And if you remember the conversation, I was talking about the fact that there was a bit of normative determinism going on there, and that I thought the music sounded a little bit scribbly.
Yes.
And then you mentioned a band called Stumble.
Yes.
That was also a Derby band. And all of these one-word band names, eh?
Yeah.
And we were talking about the fact that maybe they might share that kind of similar normative determinism. So we're going to have a listen to some Stumble, and you're going to tell us about them in a minute. But I'm just going to say I have listened to this track a couple of times, and the question was, do they stumble? And I think it kind of does, in a bit of a Ned's Atomic Dustbin, whole body lurching forward, thrashing your hair about in long shorts, wearing a big band t-shirt kind of way, that kind of stumbling. And in this song, which I really like, I think the backing vocals do a lot of the heavy lifting, and I like that.
I can't believe you invoked Ned's Atomic Dustbin. Man.
We're going to talk about them some more. Don't try fighting what's inside, Steve.
I never do. Never do. I always let it get out as soon as it can.
Let it out, man.
I'll try to. I see what you're saying about the backing vocals. That was the songwriter Stephen Battelle on BVs there.
That was my favourite bit about it.
Yeah, it's really good. For a time, Stumble had a lead singer called Ollie, and then I think eventually Steve took over lead vocals in that band. Did a bit of reading about them. That song was taken from the Home Cooking Volume 1 compilation that we've talked a lot about in the past. So I don't think that song's available anywhere else. They were, for a time, the darlings of Kerrang magazine. And they did gigs around Derby for a few years. They released their first single on Artists Against Success in 1998. Did gigs at V2000, had TV appearances, features in national papers, rave reviews for singles, and gigs all over the place. But apparently they appeared on Why Don't You?
Wow.
They appeared on Why Don't You? Hey,
Wow.
dizzying heights of Why Don't You? And then after they split, a few of the members continued as a band called Intentions of an Asteroid. And then they turned into a band called Lost Alone. And then I found, this is a hell of a press release that Steve's got on his website. Kerrang! Magazine called him the maddest musical mind in the country, a demented genius, with similar affection from the enemy, mind-bending, ludicrous melody writer. What I remember is, you remember when Johnny Domino used to do gigs? I was like, people used to come and talk to me quite a lot.
They didn't talk to me.
No, I'm not saying they didn't go and talk to Jim, because I think Jim was quite intimidating.
They didn't talk to me either. But you were the friendly face of the band.
I was the forward-facing member of the band, definitely. And I just remember chatting with him quite a lot. We did a couple of gigs with Stumble. We did one in London, one of our few London gigs. That was quite a nice one. And he did have this plan. He wanted to form a band called, his name is Stephen Battelle. He wanted to form a band called The Battalion, which would have loads and loads of guitarists in it. I don't know if he'd heard of Glenn Branca at the time, but he was trying to create this sort of guitar orchestra, and he wanted me to be in that.
Yeah, nice.
Apparently, the lead singer of My Chemical Romance, Gerard Way, has said, I know every word to every song they've written. They make music like no one else. He's got some good quotes on here. He's written songs for various people, including McFly.
Wow.
He's contributed to songs by McFly. For my sins, I have come across McFly more often than I would like. And you can kind of hear it.
Yeah.
You kind of hear there's a bit of it. It's I wouldn't say it was Route 1 guitar pop, which was a phrase that Mark Elston used to use quite a bit. Hi there, Mark. But it does what it says on the tin. And
that's some of his early work, isn't it, Steve? That's the early work.
Imagine if you went to college with them, though, and you were going to a gig and they're knocking out tunes like that. You'd be leaping all over the place like a fool.
Yeah,
cracking. Like a fool.
Yeah, very much so, definitely. I didn't really realise that they'd had that much success and career. Not so much as Stumble, but gone on, I suppose, to have good careers, really.
Yeah, I think Lost Alone were quite big. In the world of music, which I am no part of, they do all right. And they've toured, I think to quote Spinal Tap, they've toured the world and elsewhere.
Wow. It's a very Steve Lamacq kind of aesthetic, isn't it?
Yeah. He's here again.
Who, Steve?
Steve Lamacq.
Steve. He's an important figure.
Yes, is he? Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely that kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Stumble never really attained. They were one of those bands that kind of almost made it massive, but didn't quite get to the level of Ned's Atomic Dustbin, did they?
Stop mentioning Ned's Atomic Dustbin. The bloody,
they're just in my head at the moment. But I just think that song, it does have that kind of stumbly kind of grungy sound to it.
Lurching changes.
It's got lurching changes. It's got lurching changes. It's missing the two basses that Ned's Atomic Dustbin have, obviously.
Price for that,
yeah. I think Stumble had a narrow escape, really, because if they had reached the level of Ned's Atomic Dustbin, they could be where Ned's Atomic Dustbin are now, which is playing at the Shiiine On Weekender in Skegness to a room full of 40 to 60-year-olds.
I think I know someone who went to that recently.
Yeah. Yes, I did. I did. And I successfully managed to avoid going to see Ned's Atomic Dustbin, along with many other bands. But yeah, I did go to the Shiiine On Weekender at Skegness, Butlins the other week, and I made a little bit of a report of what I saw there. Recording number 1, Shiiine On Festival 2025, Skegness, Butlins. It's Saturday morning at about 11:30. We arrived last night, got straight into it. Jesus Jones they were very entertaining, I have to say. Utah Saints came after, playing some very good tunes. Really did enjoy that. Managed to avoid Dodgy, Echo Belly, and In Spiral Carpets. Last night, there was a man who cracked his head open on a chalet nearby. A little bit of blood involved. A paramedic did turn up eventually. There were a number of nurses or off-duty nurses having a bit of a nursing competition around him. It was all good, I hope. Today, various activities planned. First one being Bez's pool party, which I've got my shorts ready, and I'm going to get myself in that pool. Hello again. Just dried off after Bez's pool party. It was good once you'd relaxed a bit and got used to the fact that you were semi-naked next to a bunch of strangers, and Bez was there, making sure everyone had a good time. I think that's a great thing about Bez, really. He's got no musical talent whatsoever, but integral in the success of the Happy Mondays as a vibe merchant, I think. The pool party was quite fun. One of the best things about it, really, was just trying to hit as many men with bald heads on their head with the aforementioned beach balls. Wonder what we're going to do next. Just been to see Yogi Chi and the family. That was an interesting one. You know, we had to deal with the smell of the piss of a million toddlers. We've just seen a very impressive James tribute act. So anyway, we're going to see some other things in a minute. I think I would give Yogi G and his family about 2.5 out of 10. James tribute act, probably a solid 5, because I quite liked the fact that there was like good karaoke, you know what I mean? Right? Controversial decision, but there you go. Oh dear. It all sort of went downhill after that, really, for a while. It's Sunday morning, out for a little bit of a walk, and having a nice time in the bright sunshine, actually. Yesterday, the music was a little bit thin on the ground, but not so giggles and fun, thanks to the people that we're with, really. But yeah, the music, less great. 1,000 Yard Stare, frankly awful band, really. The sort of band that might be on before or after Cable, but I couldn't really remember what they were like, and I don't really want to remember what they're like now. We saw the HMS Northside Revival. They were bobbing along on a sea of bald heads with a talented young tambourine player and his friends. You know, they've been going a long time. I think they've had a fair chance of trying to turn into a decent band. Haven't quite got there yet. Saw the Clone Roses. The name promises so much, but, you know, doesn't really deliver. It's the kind of clone that perhaps might have been made in a very dirty laboratory, perhaps with scientists with very dirty hands. Saw EMF. Some old men singing teenage songs from the Forest of Dean. And we saw Cud, a pretty good band with an excellent singer. I think they're hampered by having a shit name, Cud. I never thought their name was very good. I think their reception generally would always have been better if they'd been called something like a bit less stupid. I think they should be called something like Carl Putnam and the Modern Set or something like that. I think they'd be a cracking band, but could be better. 808 State were the highlight. Really an excellent band, I think. And I think it's time to put to bed this idea of two blokes standing behind a desk playing music as being a boring thing, or being more boring perhaps than 4 blokes with guitars and drums. It's not more boring, let's be honest. Yeah, they were very good. A really good show, and Pacific State was the tune of the weekend so far, really. 10 out of 10. The live sax performance from Graham Massey was outstanding. So I just watched the Beast Decoys, Beastie Boys tribute band. I have to say, it's probably one of the best things I've seen. Two blokes from Blackpool and their mates who didn't do very much. And they were really excellent. I'm not going to record this, don't worry.
Are you not going to use that one? You must listen to the Johnny Domino podcast. Bing, bing, bing!
That's it. That's good. Well done. Things seem to be going a little bit awry. I think I might be turning into one of those people that like Goldie-looking chain. I'm not sure what's going to happen next. It's not looking good. We've got the wedding present, the wonder stuff. So I could go down that route, or I could go down the route of like the Dub Pistols, or possibly a bit of Slipmat, the DJ. There you go. It kind of ends there.
That's the way
Thank you for
edited it.
Yes, no, and I have to say, Steve, I do appreciate the work you put into editing that. You made it sound like it almost made sense, but it it did kind of sort of degenerate into just a load of drunk voices just talking towards the end. I guess that's the kind of the way the weekend went.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the fact that you forgot how to say Slipmat at the end. I think that says so much about where your head was at.
Slipmat.
A
DJ.
Can I ask a question? What or who is Yogi G? I've never heard of this thing.
No. Well, Yogi G and the Family Tree. I didn't even get the name right. Yogi G and the Family Tree is a band of the drummer from the Happy Mondays, Gaz Whelan.
Oh God!
And it's a drummer band, and Gaz Whelan sings and plays the guitar.
As a singer and guitarist, does he make a good drummer?
I think his best work was behind the kit, really.
Behind the kit, yeah.
But it was not great. I don't want to be too damning about it because at least he's trying to do something.
Yeah.
But I didn't love it. I heard about it because I was listening to the Paul Ryder Tapes podcast, which is a really good podcast, actually, if you've not listened to it.
Yeah.
The earlier episodes are basically interviews with Paul Ryder before he passed away. And then the later episodes are like his mates talking about it and memories. And there's some like really amazing memories about the Happy Mondays and stuff. But in the most recent one, it's Gaz bigging up his new band. So I thought, I'll give him a go. But I did kind of regret it a little bit, actually. And it was in this big venue at the Butlins, which is obviously used for some kind of children's events, possibly toddlers, because it's got this kind of carpet that, especially when the room's not got many people in it, the whole place just smells of urine. The urine of 1,000 toddlers, basically.
That sounds delightful.
So that was that. I don't want to come across as being too negative about the whole weekend. Really, no. I have to say I had a really good time,
despite the music.
I'd consider going again. No, I actually like quite a lot of the music as well, but perhaps not the music that I guess most people were going to see, or maybe that I was kind of expecting to like.
So, what were you looking forward to when you went there?
I don't know. I thought I'd probably go and see the Inspiral Carpets, but I managed to swerve them.
Yeah.
And I thought, I might see a few more of the sort of more indie bands, but I didn't really enjoy the ones I saw. No. And I kind of got more into sort of like some of the dance artists, as you could probably hear from it.
Yeah.
I didn't end up going to see Slipmat in the end. I was too tired.
Oh dear.
I got a bit too tired. It was the last night, man.
Yeah.
I'd had enough by then, so I couldn't stay up that late. But it was good. The dance music definitely seems to have aged quite well.
Probably better, yeah, definitely. I mean, Cud were a band I saw more times than I should have done during my college years, whether they were headlining their own gig or supporting like the wedding present or something like that. I saw them quite a few times. Was it William Potter, the bass player? He was I mean, some of our friends at college, they all fancied William Potter, and he's lost his hair, which is always quite pleasing.
As far as I could tell, I think it's still the original lineup.
That's sweet.
But Carl has still got a really good voice, and what a performer that man is! What a performer! Really good. They were pretty decent, actually. I really enjoyed them.
But Goldie Looking Chain, sorry. I mean, you must have been tired if you enjoyed Goldie Looking Chain.
But yeah, no, I did enjoy them.
Yeah.
I enjoyed them a lot. They really tore the place up. They were good. And they put on a show. You know what I mean? There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of them. And they were really choreographing their moves around the stage. You know what I mean? They were as choreographed as like some sort of boy band in the way that they were kind of moving around and sort of getting to the front of the stage for their part and stuff. They were really funny. I mean, the songs really worked in that environment.
Yeah.
I have to say. And they've got a really good song about the middle of Lidl that you've got to listen to. It's like an existential crisis brought about by being in the middle of Lidl. Once it's gone, it's gone. And they've got a really good song about pubic hair as well. That's really rude. Really rude.
Well, this is a family podcast. Let's not talk about that. I did enjoy you talking about 1,000 Yard Stare, and they might well have played with cable.
Probably.
I can almost see the poster.
Another little thing happened on one of the afternoons. Me and Tracy went and had a game of pool in one of the sports bars, and it was good because it was like cheap pool and stuff. And the lead singer from EMF came in.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So he was in there while I was playing pool. I'd won the first game, and Tracy was doing quite well on the second game. And she potted a few balls, and then she sort of snookered me behind the black, and I couldn't directly get my shot, right? Yeah. So I had to do a shot that bounced at an oblique angle, like off two of the cushions, and I actually did it, and I got it in. And the lead singer from EMF came up to me and said, "You're unbelievable." No, he didn't. No, it's a good story though, isn't it?
Anyway,
you can't edit that out.
I will keep that in just so everyone knows what I'm dealing with. But no, that was a lovely report. I'm glad you had a good time.
Thank you.
Tickets are on sale for next year.
Well, I might go again. I gave out some This Are Johnny Domino podcast badges.
Nice.
So there might be some people listening that have curiously got a badge off a weird stumbling man and thought, "Oh, what's this about?" So you never know.
Oh, hello to anybody who's listening because of a badge that was given to you by a drunken man in Skegness.
Hi, I'm Giles and Stephen's mum, and I don't listen to their podcasts. I think they're very silly boys.
Friend of the podcast, Simon Gatemouth Richardson, has dusted off his old broken 4-track. It's been sat in one of his spare rooms. I imagine maybe he's got more than one, possibly. I don't know. He's in a spare room for years, and now he's gone and took it and got it fixed, and there was a tape in it, and there was an old song he'd been recording years before it was broken, and now he's gone and fixed the 4-track, and he's finished the song, and it's a reimagining of a song that was very meaningful to me and Simon when we were sharing an attic room in the leafy suburbs of Leeds in the sun-dappled days of the last millennium, and we're going to hear it now.
smile, the White House with the 24-hour party people. Plastic face can't smile, the White House, you can't be beaten. So why don't you join in? You won't be beaten. So why don't you join in? Well, it's a 24-hour party people. Plastic face can't smile, the White House with the 24-hour party people. Plastic face can't smile, the White House. Well, I've seen you through the door. You've been chewing bread and water. There's a grudge on you. You know you're not ought to have. You've been running round the racetrack. You've been running round the racetrack. So put that mother to bed, to bed. Put that mother to bed. With a 24-hour party people. Plastic face can't smile, the White House waiting for you to conduct. Press the pause on the self-destruct. With a 24-hour party people. Plastic face can't smile. It's better that your White House. It's better that your White House. I need full time. I don't need no part time. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 6, 5 all the time. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 full time. I don't need no part time. I need 3, 6, 5. No days off. 24-hour party people. Plastic face can't smile, the White House.
That was lovely. Thank you for sending that in, Simon.
Yeah, it's good, wasn't it? Some good fucking around at the start there that I enjoyed. And then it kind of got going.
And it kind of got going.
Yeah.
So he's had that on tape in a 4-track for years, decades?
I think nearly a decade, yeah.
Wowzers.
And he's just finished it the other week and sent it to us. That's nice, isn't it?
It's lovely. I wish I still got my 4-track. The last
Did
time
you recognise the song?
Well, only I did wonder why it was called 24-Hour Party People. Then obviously it's because it's a reimagining of the song by the Happy Mondays.
Yeah.
You were a 24-hour party person in the 90s halcyon days in Leeds, weren't you?
Well, we tried to be. Yeah, it was one of them songs that we listened to. I think one of the main reasons Simon became my friend was because I had a copy of the album Bummed.
Mm.
That was my main quality and opening gambit, really, in trying to be his friend.
But you were also sharing a room with him.
We did share a room.
Well, yeah,
we did.
So he couldn't really avoid you.
Well, no, but we did get on pretty well. We had kind of shared interest in music and stuff. And it's nice to still be in touch with him.
Yeah.
The lyrics to that song, I think, acquire sort of a new meaning. I was just thinking about it quite a lot when I was listening to it. You know, the line, "How old are you? Are you old enough?"
Yes.
In the context of the Shiiine On Weekender and where we are now, that does certainly.
You are old enough.
Well, are you old enough, though? You certainly need to be pretty old to go to the Shiiine On Weekender, I think. Also, the line, "Put your mother to bed."
Yes.
Probably has a different connotation these days.
Put your mum to bed.
Put that mother to bed. Put that mother to bed. I think some of those mothers did need putting to bed because they were a little bit tired and drunk.
Made me remember that I think we might have done it more than once, where we had a bit of music and we'd get some lyrics out of a guitar songbook and just sing them over the top. I know we did it with You've Got to Hide Your Love Away by a young band called The Beatles. Yeah. And we did a really lumpen terrible. I mean, terrible bit of music. And we just like crowbarred the lyrics on top of it. And back in the days of Space Rat, I'll dig it out.
Well, we did a version of Love Will Tear Us Apart, famously, which had none of the original music whatsoever.
Oh, it did. It had the do 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 do. That was all the way through the song, and you sort of like gamely playing 3 chords over the top.
Yeah. Anyway, Simon didn't do anything that bad.
No, not at all.
In terms of like his electronic version had something going on for it, but the original Happy Mondays version, the bass playing is really good. Paul Ryder's bass playing is really amazing on it. Cover versions which don't have any real resemblance to the original. Maybe we should explore that.
That's the thing.
We can explore that, can't we?
Do you reckon that could be an engagement opportunity?
An engagement opportunity.
Yes,
yeah, it could be, couldn't it? Yeah. Do a cover version. Do a cover version like Simon's that doesn't really sound like the original.
That'd be great.
That'd be cool.
I'd love to hear people doing that. Have fun with it. Maybe some of our Six Music dads will be able to get their hurdy-gurdies out of the loft and record something for us.
Definitely. Do what Simon did. Send us some music. It's good. And just get involved. And Simon is still up there gamely plugging away, working on these tunes. That's good, right? I think that's a good thing. So we're going to encourage that and try and play his stuff.
I wasn't sure about the Johnny Domino podcast, but I gave it a chance, and now I think I love it.
Right. Time for a song by Johnny Domino. Now, this is from the 3rd batch of songs we did as Johnny Domino. I think it was finished in the spring of 1994. God, that was a long time ago.
Very long time ago.
That's a long time ago.
Very long time ago.
I was getting toward the end of my 2nd year at university.
Different times.
Man. Anyway, let's go back to what I was thinking of when I was writing this bit of music. Now, in our previous bands, in particular, there's a band we've mentioned before called The Millers. And, we were trying to do something. I mean, I'm saying this all inverted commas. We want to do something new and groundbreaking and original. And none of it sounded groundbreaking or original. There's only so many chords you can use. But I always try to think of something like bits of music which didn't really, they've all been done before, but I wanted to try and make something that sounded like new and original and was, pushing back the boundaries and all this kind of crap. And when we started doing Johnny Domino stuff, I was very conscious of the fact I didn't want to do that. So I tried to write songs that were very, very simple. Now, I've not heard this song for a long time. And in my head, I may have gone a little bit too far in the simplicity.
What, on the generic aspect?
Possibly in the generic aspect, but I've not heard it for a long time.
What's this song called?
This song is called J. Silverheels.
Tell
there's a bit of the Mid-Atlantic twang about some of your lines, but you can tell that you're trying to kick the habit.
Yeah, I was trying to dial it back a little bit there.
Trying to dial it back.
Yeah. A bit of Dwayne Eddy in the guitar.
Yeah, I mean, that's an odd bit of music, that is.
Well, it's not, though, is it?
Very odd.
It's not very odd, is it?
It's suspiciously not odd.
Mm. I like the middle bit where it goes quiet.
Yes.
That was my favourite bit.
The bit when it went quiet, yeah. You know, I'm playing the electric guitar. I think you're playing the acoustic. And we probably recorded that on one track because the 4-track we were using at the time was the Texon 4x4, which was a 4-track recorder, which didn't often have 4 tracks for you to record on. Sometimes you'd have 2, sometimes you'd have 3, sometimes you'd have 1. And basically you put your finger in the air and hope for the best. And we had a go at that. I think there's a bit of lesser spotted Steve on backing vocals on various points. I mean, you know, there's a couple of tracks of you singing. Nice to hear a bit more juvenilia, you know. Yeah. We like to dig into this sometimes. Yeah, I quite like them. I don't know who it was doing the back. I like the low backing vocals. I thought that was quite good. Well, that's you, I think. Yeah, but I thought that's worked quite well in the song. Do you know what I mean? There were some good bits in it, but it was never going to get us up to the Ned's Atomic Dustbin level, is it? Oh, no, well, that's something to be grateful for. I think we just decided we wanted to write a song with that title because Jay Silverheels was the actor who played Tonto, the Native American companion of the Lone Ranger. Of course. In the television series The Lone Ranger. He did, yes. And he made the word Kemosabe famous, didn't he? You know, the Kemosabe, which is a made-up word, apparently, I've since discovered. Really? It's kind of invented. It's not even a Native American word. It's just a word they made up. So they couldn't even use like real Native American language. I know. Yeah. Do you see that's shocking that American culture would whitewash in every possible sense Native American culture? Yeah, of course. At a later point, Johnny Depp played Tonto in a film version of The Lone Ranger, didn't he? That's problematic on so many levels. And then there was a big thing about that because he was claiming that he's got kind of part Indian heritage, but there's people are sort of disputing that on the internet. So it's all a bit murky, really. Johnny Depp is a dill hole. He is a dill hole. Are you going to keep that in? Yeah, I think he's a knobhead. And Jay Silverheels was not. Jay Silverheels wasn't his real name. I don't have his real name. He was born Harold J. Smith. Yeah. Harold J. Smith in 1912. He died aged 67, only 67, in 1980. He was an actor, stuntman, athlete, poet, and salesman. Here are his many, many occupations. From Wikipedia, it does sound like he had quite a good life, actually. Yeah. But yeah, I remember watching The Lone Ranger, don't you? Man, he was on telly all the time, especially in summer holidays and things like that. You have a bit of Lone Ranger, then you switch over and watch The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Maybe catch an episode of The Monkees. Yeah. You got to get it all your TV watching in before it goes to 100% live action in inverted commas from Test cricket or something. Yeah. You know, no, that's your day gone then, sorted. But yeah, Lone Ranger, definitely. Lone Ranger, good. Hi ho, Silver, away! But what can you tell about someone from what they wear on their feet? Let's ask ChatGTP. All right. He said the wrong letters. He meant GPT. Move on. What someone wears on their feet can reveal a lot about their personality, lifestyle, and mood. Here are a few things that footwear can suggest. Personality and style. Sneakers, comfortable, casual, often associated with active lifestyle. Dress shoes often signify professionalism. Flip-flops often indicate relaxed, laid-back attitude or a warm, casual environment. Boots may indicate someone who has practical or outdoor activities. Different types of boots, like hiking boots, etc., etc. High heels, often associated with elegance, confidence, or a formal event. And so on, and so on. While not a perfect science, analysing someone's shoes can give you subtle insights into their personality, lifestyle, and preferences. preferences of what sort of shoes they prefer to wear?
I think it's a really bad idea for a song, I have to say. I don't think it's interesting enough idea that shoes can tell you something about someone's personality.
Well, we don't really dig into that in the verse. It's literally a line in the chorus, and that's it.
Yeah. So I'm not saying this is one of our high points really, but I enjoyed listening to it.
I enjoyed listening to it, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it too, dear listener.
I don't think we're going to include it probably in the next best of, unless there's an uproar of like massive J Silverheels fan club that starts or something like that.
Yeah.
Can I just give you some quick anagrams?
Please.
Elon Musk, Leon Scum.
I think we have a winner.
My Bloody Valentine, Malevolent Indie Boy, Tears for Fears, Farters for Arse. There you go.
Right. If you ask me when you do the show notes what the title of this episode is, if it's not Farters for Arse, then, I demand a steward's inquiry, because that would be great.
Farters for Arse.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Anyway, are we at the end? About, aren't we?
We are about at the end of the podcast. Thank you for listening to this episode of the This Are Johnny Domino podcast. If you have enjoyed this podcast, yes, I've got an end bit this time.
Oh, you've interrupted yourself.
I interrupted myself in a quite elaborate way. It's a callback to a previous feature we've had on the podcast, and it's albums that aren't on Spotify. Now, we all know that Spotify is evil now, and so, all this kind of crap. However, this is an album which is not on Spotify. Now, Giles.
Yes.
I'm taking you back to the summers of our youth. Yes. Now, we both suffered with hay fever.
Very much so.
Remember that. And, being brothers, we tolerated each other for a number of years. And then when you were kind of later teens and I was in my mid-teens, things like that, we figured out what we were into. And we would hide out from the hay fever and the pollen in the dining room in our parents' house, which was the coolest room in the house.
It was.
The sun never got in there. And our mother would buy foil packs of Capri Sun juice drinks.
Capri Sun.
Capri Sun.
Frozen Capri Sun.
And we would basically spend the summer months gnawing on frozen Capri Sun packs and listening to records.
You can't moan about children sat in front of their computers, can you? Do you know what I mean? Because we did exactly the same thing with Capri Sun and records.
Yeah.
Do I need some Capri Sun for this bit?
I think you'll be able to taste it. It was an album that you bought, and I was not into it at first, but I think over the course of at least one summer, maybe over a couple of summers, I grew to love it. And when I realised it wasn't on Spotify, I bought it from Bandcamp.
What is the album, Steve?
And that album is Peruvian Vacation by the Ipswich hardcore band, The Stupids.
Oh, thank you for bringing back those hay fever days.
But, it's almost worth getting hay fever just to listen to that.
Well, it's definitely given me that sort of sense memory of sitting in a dark room listening to that. It's a good album.
Oh, it's a great album.
It took me a while to get into it when I first heard it, a bit like you. But once I got it,
there was
no going back, really.
Why did you buy it?
I don't know. Somebody, I think I was trying to impress somebody, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I was trying to convince myself that I liked it. Sometimes you do that, don't you? You buy things because you want to like something.
Oh, yeah.
But I actually did end up liking it. It was a good one. And they did a few albums with horrible titles, a couple of them.
Yes.
But good band. Hardcore, skate punk.
14 songs, 21 minutes.
Yeah, brilliant.
You know, you can't really argue with that.
Thanks for that, Steve. And we'll be back in a few weeks with another podcast. So stay tuned, get in touch, and like and subscribe, and tell your friends, tell your mother, tell your pets.
Please do like and subscribe to our podcast and recommend it to someone who you think might like listening to all this kind of weird shit. Send us some of your old music and enter the eternal halls of the 4-track gods.